Those who need an introduction are the ones who are in need of it. Respected sir is a personality who does not require any introduction. From ICR to the entire academic fraternity, everyone knows him. So without any formalities and delay, I welcome Honorable Sir and request him to join us. Sir has graciously accepted my request to join this forum. Now my voice is audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I request him to deliver his lecture. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting my request. I think in AgriMeet, this will be your 11th lecture. Anna, thank you so much for joining us. Your blessings, your guidance, your cooperation always with me and foundation. So I request you kindly deliver your lecture, please.
Thank you, Dr. Ankur Sharma, Chief Organizing Secretary for this international program, 15 days international training workshop actually. And the topic is very well defined and very important in today's scenario, because the publication ethics and how to write a good scientific paper, it's basically an art. And art has to be translated in terms of integrity. So here we all scientists believe that the whatever the data is generated by the scientist or the researcher, that has been generated in true spirit with true sanctity of the experimentations. And the publication part, again, itself a very important part, because whatever data we are generating, whether we are translating into the true sense in the publication part, which is going to be in public domain, whether it is a research paper and the whatever the and the ultimate goal of any scientist is to go for the patent and the other things. So basically, it's a recognition by a scientist and to the organization also. So I will start my lecture on the subject without wasting the time, because the time is limited to 1 hour, and I will try to cover up the things in a brief manner about the that if this is now visible, my slide is visible.
No, sir, it's
Yes,
not
sir. Yes.
visible.
No, it's there, sir.
Yes, sir, it's visible. It's visible.
Okay, good. So the topic which has been assigned by the AgriMeet Foundation for this 15 days international workshop on the effective research paper writing, publication in high impact journal, and publication ethics. So because nowadays we are talking about the impact factor, and the in Indian scenario we talk about the NAS rating. So below the NAS rating journal, we are not giving importance to the publications. So here, what I would like to give the message to the participants of this very important international program, that you try to focus on a research methodology or the research program where you can publish a paper in at least to the NAS rating. NAS rating starts from the 6, which has impact factor of 0. So any impact factor plus 0.1, then NAS rating would be 6.1. So you can think of where we stand. Because in the international globally scenario, we always talk about the impact factor. NAS rating is related to the only Indian condition. So basically, the best practices for the academic excellence and the integrity is the part of the publication ethics. So there we have to play a very big role, that how we are pious in generating the data, and how we are maintaining the integrity and sanctity of the research paper. Because mastering both the craft of research paper writing and the ethical standards is required for the publishing. This is a brief introduction that how the science, technology, and innovations are the important for the national building and the societal development globally. And the researcher or scientist or the faculty member and the students and the industry personnel, they are basically mainly target to showcase their work and achievement by publishing in high impact journals. So this is their main motive. And we are giving importance for the impact factor, and the scientific credentials or the scientific achievement is basically maintained by the citation index, H index, I10. So these are the some parameters, metrics, which we can have a field weighted citation impact. So many academic and the researcher in the working in the institution, university, they are publishing their work. So why this coming to the why the significance of research paper writing is important, why it matters? Because writing a scientific research paper ultimately gives the self-satisfaction to the research worker that, yeah, I have developed this kind of work, or I have developed this kind of patent, or I have coming out with this kind of technology, which is going to be a new knowledge to the public domain. So that is very important. That matters a lot to the scientist. And ultimately, it is going to have an impact on the academic and the professional communities. So we have our own communities where we can say to the scientist colleague that, yeah, I have a citation index of this much, I have a science H index of this much. So like that, and very well, you can Google it out, and you know the credentials of each and every one. And again, the another important point for research paper writing is the enhancing the credibility. And ultimately, the whatever the credibility you will own it, that is going to contribute to the particular field or the public particular your professional career, which you have a discipline of your core group. So basically, for the writing a good paper, you need to have a planning, and going for planning, you need to have a preparation. So first of all, when you are going to start your research work, because publication, it is not going to come with the first day like that. First, you have to think of the research problem, that in which area you have to start the work. Then you can think of the ultimate goal, ultimate aim of your work, that, yeah, it's a work which is of importance, and certainly we can start the work on this subject. And ultimately, the defined focused area, that is going to make a lot of impact in your professional career. Then another important question for defining your research program is the novelty, or the whether your work is original, because lot of duplication work is going on. And in the duplication of work, if you want to get the publish of good paper, it is very difficult, because we have a plagiarism system. We have the good journal, they used to have such kind of software. There they can feed some keywords, and they will easily make out the work which is of novelty in nature, or it's a duplication of kind of work. Means your old wine in new bottle. So like that, you can think of that your problem should be of very well defined, clear, focused, and what are in the present knowledge gaps are there, that should have be addressed by the research program which you are going to have it. The globally, what I want to say from this slide, that on average globally academic publication as the gross domestic product is only 0.38%. So basically, our publication impact at the global level is lower side as compared to the foreign journal impact or the foreign researcher, which they are giving a global relative is the approximately 1.44% of GDP expenditure. And approximately 4,000 manuscripts are published by a country in the southern part compared to the 35,000 in the northern part of the world. And in G20 countries produce approximately 85% of the world's scientific knowledge. So here when the G20 held in our country, that's why a lot of focus was given for the science and technology and the agriculture institutions. That's why the country representative visited in those institutions, and they had a very great discussions with the peer groups for the development of science and technology. And if you compare with the top 10 countries with maximum expenditure on R&D of GDP, include Israel is 5.35, Korea 4.8, USA 3.42. Likewise, you can think of that these countries are spending great amount of expenditure on the R&D sector. That's why the scientific community is giving a lot of stress to the government of India that we should enhance the R&D expenditure in this area, because already we have generated the data that we are spending, if we are spending a 1 rupee, then we are getting 11 rupees of output from the research. So that data was published by the NITI Aayog in the last year. I think you might be aware of this figure. And that's why we are focusing this line, and very well, we are proudly saying to the planner and the policymaker that, yeah, you can think of spending the money on the R&D sector. Coming to the peer review system, how the peer review system is there for the publishing and general. So here the global pulp and paper market was valued about the $351 billion in 2021. And it is expected to reach $373 billion by 2029. So market size in Asia Pacific accounted for $179 billion in 2023. So ultimately, if you look at the global market on the publication part, it is going to have a huge impact. And definitely the sophisticated AI-enabled tools are being used for generating the plausible scientific data. And however, these tools are flagging authors with non-institutional email ID as fraud, and 44% genuine papers as fake, while able to detect faulty experimentations. That's why I was focusing on your experimentation part should be very sound and very strong. Otherwise, there are such mechanism that which can easily be detected, that which data is fraud, which experimentation is fraud. So otherwise, very difficult to publish a good paper in good journal. Ultimate aim of your scientific career should be to have a good paper. The open access journal has a lot of impact and the publication, and coming to the data that 31% of all journal articles were available as open access, and 52% articles views in the open access. And then by 2025, it is expected that 44% of the all journal article will be available in the open access. So basically, there are three categories: green, gold, diamond. And in the three type of this open access category, green means all authors accepted manuscripts are archived online and are freely available. So these are category as a green. And gold, authors have to pay article processing fee, that is APC, for open access. In ICAR system, most of the institutions, they are giving the publication charges to the scientist also. If your paper is of original nature and has an impact, on the organizational and the development of society. So definitely institutions has the mandate to spend on the money for the publication APC charges. But their scientists has to first try for some 2-3 good journals. And after getting the rejection of those journals, because most of the journals, they are now asking for the money. So here you have to think of that getting a good project also. You can think of this APC charges, because in the project funding also you have a liberty, you have a provision of spending money on this APC charges. Otherwise, your institutions can sponsor the publication charges because your work is of nature that ultimately the organization also going to benefit it by your achievement. And in the diamond category, that no fee and immediate open access. So that is the very highest category. So these 3 categories you can think of, and how to get the paper published in this paper. That depends on your work, that depends on the novelty of the research paper. Likewise, you can think of. And other alternatives to open access includes the ResearchGate, uploading the accepted manuscript into the ResearchGate. That also you can think of. Then Science Hub is there, encouraging the Science Hub like platform wherein authors' accepted manuscripts are available for free download. Then Research Square platform wherein manuscripts were published as preprints are available online for free. Then Arscape platform for free distribution and open access archive. So these are the some alternatives for the open access. Now coming to the how to get the good paper, how to write a good paper. So what are the some consideration and what are the points to be think of? So first one is the accuracy. Accuracy is the most important, that how you are accurate about the work which is going to be published in the public domain. And certainly, if you are not confident, if you are not convinced yourself about your work, then certainly you are going to get a very difficult answers in the public domain. So accuracy is very important. Then clarity. Clarity is also very important. Good organizations and write this simple and direct language instead of making so much of sometimes very complicated findings are there. So the impact of those papers, because ultimately you have to increase the citation index. If your paper is referred by the other research worker or the co-worker very frequently in their research paper, so ultimate aim of that research paper is more important. And the format of research journals basically sometimes depends journal to journal. So here you have to write a very simple language, and language should be of proactive and direct impact. So that point should be taken care. Coming to the important point is the title. It's because the whenever sometimes we used to review the ad hoc project also, and I also get the feedback from my senior peer review persons that many times they don't read full-fledged projects. They focus on the title and then objective. But I'm talking about how to write a win projects, and I will request to Dr. Ankush Sharma, if you get a chance to invite me for writing how to write a good research paper, then I can deliver a very good talk on that subject also.
Definitely, sir, definitely.
So here my point is that if you're writing a research paper, then your title is very, very important. Title is going to make a great impact on the publishing a good paper in a good journal. So basically, because ultimately title and abstracts are indexed. So for indexing system also, they used to keep the title and the index. Then another is the content of the article. So that also should be accurately reflect, and keywords. That is also important, that you have to highlight some 5 to 6 keywords, and length, which is defined that only 10 to 12 words should be there in the title, and it should be a self-explanatory. Otherwise, sometimes people used to make a so much complications that is very difficult. They will write genome editing, then they will write marker assisted. I'm just talking about the plant breeding aspects or the something. So many times the so many words, if you include in the title itself, it is going to make a very complicated case of your research paper. So ultimately, title should be a very self-explanatory and identify the theoretical issue or the variables under the investigation. So ultimately, these are the some points which can be included in the title part. Now, coming to the abstract, the second most important part is the abstract. Whenever we are writing a thesis, so my guide also told me that, Dikshit, you have to focus on the abstract, because everybody, I told you na, that when you are submitting a project, nobody is going to read a full research proposals. I tell you. But the only point is that how you have written the title, your objectives, whether well defined or not, and what are your core activities going to take place in the coming 1 or 2 year or 3-year project proposal. So likewise, if you're writing a good research paper, then you have to focus it on the abstract, the problem under investigation, and what are your experimental methodology. And suppose you have used some very hi-fi equipment or the apparatus, then you have to include that yeah, we have used this any system PCR based or the whatever this thing. And then what is the procedure of data gathering? That is very important. How you have gathered the data from the particular source. So that is also very important. Then, of course, the finding, which is going to be given the message to the masses, and statistical significance. Whenever you are writing a research paper, that statistical significance or the statistical calculation is very important. And of course, the conclusion and the ultimately implications and the application part of that work, which is going to be play a major role. So these are the points which can be included for the abstract. Coming to the finally, the how to give the shape of an article. So basically, a shape of an hourglass. So that you have to make a. I used to say that I am a red means introduction, method, results, discussion, and conclusion. So basically, these are the final frame of a shape of an article, which you can include. These are the things. Coming to the introduction, that introduction is the opening statement, and it's just like a opening batsman for any cricket match. Then you have to start with the background and the nature of the problem, and write a simple language. Many times people used to make a cut and paste, copy and paste, and they don't know what they have copied and pasted. But first you have to read it twice or thrice, that what is the matter which I'm going to put it in my introduction for the research paper, or you can use it for my this thesis writing also, because many times I'm evaluating thesis also. The people are writing so casually, it's very sorry to say, but ultimately it is not going to make any sense of that. Yeah, you may get a degree, of course, degrees are very easily available, but if you have completed MSc or PhD, then certainly you have to make a impact in the society. If you want to remain in the field, if you want to become a bank officer or the ICE officer or any other job which is not related to the scientific job, then you may bypass on all these aspects which I'm talking about today. Then uh, unnecessarily don't make a conceptual terms or these are the some of the points which you can take into the introduction. Then review literature also very important aspect of any research paper, where you have to write only 2-3 reviews in the introduction segment only. If you are writing a research paper, it is not a talking about the thesis, then very well you have to summarize with the current state of the knowledge and what the previous worker has done on this aspect. That also you have to club it. Then some of the pertinent theories which you are using it in your, because the writing a research paper, it may be of engineering background or maybe some other discipline. So there are some theories also which can be, if you are using it, so those can be taken into consideration. Or in the review of literature segment, writing a citation also very important. Sometimes suppose MAO activity in some individuals with schizophrenia is actually higher than normal, and you have quoted in bracket about the authors Tang 1949 or Tang 1949 report that MAO activity in some individual with this. These are the some examples of A and B, that how these two statements can be modified in different way. The writing some review in the segment, then definitely whatever the current knowledge is there. So criticizing, I will not say that you have to criticize or the this thing. Only thing is that the what are the incompleteness or gap is there in the present knowledge, current state of knowledge. That is very important. Then why you have chosen this problem? Because these are the knowledge level which is insufficient or which is a incompleteness, and that definitely with this idea and with this objective, the present work was undertaken. Like that, you have to end the introduction with a brief overview of our own study, and then certainly objective of the study, then smooth transition about the work. So these are the some flavor or the essence of writing introduction and the review of literature. Now coming to the, because the review of literature means it's not going to have a separate section in the research paper. Just my point is that introduction, in introduction only, you have to say about the current knowledge and the importance of that problem. Then incompleteness and the gap in the present knowledge of your present study, present experimentation. Then with this idea, you have chosen with this objective. So this, you have to finish it up in the introduction section. So here, the 2-3 review of literature will also be included in that part. Coming to the methodology, materials and method. So basically, you have to figure it out, the relevant details of the experimental design and the technique used for the particular study, or the calculations or the your theories you have used. So all these things should be come into the one section. And for well-known methods, citations of the standard work is sufficient, and statistical methods also clearly indicated. So these are the some of the important methodological point which you have to taken into consideration. Then results is very important, because it is going to set your stage for the final feet into the land. Then you have to conditioning the testing of your hypothesis, which is fulfilled or not. Then procedures used to convert the raw observations into analyzed data. That is also very important. How you have translated those raw observations to analyzed data. Then your method of data analysis, that conventional method which you have used. Then discuss the rationale for the unconventional analysis with the reference that because in the results and discussion section also a lot of references need to support your data, need to support your results. That that is very important. So for that reason, you have to have a very strong research review part. That's why for the any scientist who used to induct in the services or the any student who start with the MSc or PhD program, we used to say that you go to library, first you read some good research papers, good journals, then you can come out with your problem, then in which area you want to make your findings or the work for the betterment of the career. Then if you are having any new analysis, because many times researchers, they come out with the new analysis of their own kind of calculations, then because that is also going to be criticized by the many times by the researcher or those who are going to read your research paper. So certainly that full explanation is required for giving a space to the new analysis in your result part. Then finally, the presenting the findings, that is a also very important point, that how you are going to present the findings, that conceptual hypothesis or the operationals performed and the variables measured. So these are the some comparison where you can think of how you can measure the variables, then findings, refer pertinent data, that also very important. If you're come out with the some good findings and already the pertinent data is there, so those reference should also be there in the mind, and certainly that should have also be placed in your research paper. Then overall conclusion, you have to make a elaborate presentation, and each section of the results with a summary, you have to finally make an end of your finding. So these are the some of the this text part where you can think of. Then figures and tables also you can group it, and with the relationship, suppose the growth parameters are there, then yield parameters. I'm talking about the agronomical point of view. So likewise, you can think of in your domain how you can make a comparison between groups. Suppose it is the data related to the weed experimentation, then you should have a weed count, weed dry weight, then grouping the weed species like that. So likewise, you can think of comparison between the groups and the relationship. Discussion is also very important, and ultimately the discussion speaks about the how much you are sound enough about your research or the findings which you have carried out and come out with the research paper or the thesis. So here your narrative should be cohesive and specific to more general concerns about the methodology, strategy, and all. Then hypothesis and the related findings, and each new statement should contribute something new to the reader's understanding of the problem. And that's some of the questions also may remain unanswered. So that also you can include into consideration. Yeah, that in future point of view, that what are the impact of this or impact of the climate change in the future generation, that needs to be further investigation. Like that, you can add on one or two statement in your paper. Now coming to the what are the common grammatical mistakes we used to do in the research papers? I used to review many research papers, and I used to get almost daily. Sometimes I have to deny also because of my some commitment for the other things. So basically, I have narrated what are some of the common found grammatically errors in the article. So which you can think of that at least you should not make such silly mistakes. I'm not talking about the very big grammatical mistake, but many times people used to write. Suppose one point is the subject verb agreement errors. That is, incorrect sentence is the data shows significant results. Many times we write shows. The correct answer is the data show, because the data itself is a plural. The another is the incorrect use of articles. Articles are a and the. So here the incorrect, and a study was conducted on this topic. So here you have to write a study was conducted on this topic. These are, by listening, you might be thinking very small things that I have come across. I'm telling you that many good researcher and the many good journals also, I have come across that such silly mistakes they used to do. Then improper use of tenses. The experiment was performing well until the equipment fails. Here, equipment failed basically. So, another one is the misplaced or the dangling modifiers. What is that? After analyzing the result, the hypothesis was confirmed. Who analyzed the result? So ultimately, the correct sentence is the after analyzing the result, we confirm the hypothesis. The another one is the redundant or the wordy sentences. What is that? The incorrect is it is very essential to conduct a preliminary investigation before starting the research study. The correct answer is, it is essential to conduct a preliminary investigation before starting the research. The incorrect use of prepositions, how used to make this thing? Incorrect is the experiment was conducted in 3 phases. Basically, the experiment was conducted over 3 phases. The run-on sentences at comma. The drug was effective. It reduced inflammation. Here, it is not required any comma. The drug was effective because it reduced inflammation. The how you can over the use of improper passive voice. It was observed that the drug was effective. We observed that drug was effective. So these are some of the very, very basic grammatical mistakes while writing we used to commit. And many of the good researchers, they are committing the mistake likewise. Then another one is the improper use of pronouns. How it is one? The studies show that it is effective. So here it referring to it is referring to whom? This study shows that the treatment is effective. Simple. Then parallelism errors. The study aimed to analyze the data, interpreting the result and drawing conclusions. So here the correct sentence is that the study aimed to analyze the data, interpret the result and draw conclusions. Very simple. That's why in most of the slides you might be reading that write a very simple and smooth transition of the sentences. It is very effective in conveying the message or the findings in the form of research paper. The another one is the spelling and the typographical errors. What is that? Affect versus effect. Principle versus principle. So these are very small things, but you may think of while writing. If you are careful, then certainly you will have a very minimal, minimize the mistakes. And certainly when it will go for peer reviewing or the any kind of reviewing system before publishing in the good journal, then your comments would be not harsh, as sometime we used to write for the researcher, that if the researcher, they don't know the basic ABCD of the writing because they at least you should know the basic English. So then only you can write a good research paper. That is very important. Now here the point is that, just a minute. Yeah, introduction, that how you can have a that present tense and the past tense. So here for the general facts, established knowledge or the universally accepted theories, you may use the present tense, like X is a critical factor in Y, like that. And past tense, if you are referring to the specific study or the historical development, then you have to write like this: Smith et al. Demonstrated that Z affects Y. On Fala conducted on so and so. Fala resulted on so and so. Here you have to, otherwise, in the review of literature, most of your sentences would be of past tense only, because you are referring a case of someone which has already been conducted. So likewise, you have to think, and in the methodology also, that past tense would be used that to describe what was done in the study. For example, we conducted a randomized controlled trial. We conducted so and so, likewise. And for present tense, which is occasionally, that's what I told you, that in the thesis part, most of the time we used to depend on the past tense. And when present tense used for the methodology when describing figures, tables, or procedural steps in the real time. That table 1 shows that experimental setup. Table 2 indicates that the population of so and so is higher than their particular, if you are comparing with the treatment. So you sensitize the where the situation is saying about the present tense and the past tense. Coming to the result, past tense would be used to report the findings and the finally outcome. That data indicated a significant increase in so and so. The figure depicted or the any picture is depicted like that. So here you can use the past tense. Present tense, when we are discussing the table, figure, or trend shown in the real time to illustrates the growth pattern. Figure so and so depicts the so and so. So ultimately, when the trends is showing in the real time, then only you have to use the past present tense in the result segment. Coming to the discussion where you can use the present tense and the past tense. Here in the discussion part, present tense is used to interpret the result and they connect them to existing knowledge. Example is that these findings suggest that X plays a role in Y. And past tense, how you can use it to summarize the specific finding, that this study observed that X increased Y. So you got this difference of these two. And in the conclusions, the present tense would be used for the implications and the conclusions of the study final, that this result or this research demonstrate the potential of so and so. And future, because in the conclusion, future means you have to suggest about the further research, future research. So how you can write that further studies will investigate the impact of Y. So likewise, you may think of, and definitely these kind of findings would be more foolproof and the fruitful for making a good, writing a good thesis also. Coming to the research ethics part, because this is also a very important point. Topic is too big actually for me, because I used to combine most of the things which is of important. Then only you may talk on this topic and you can address the audience in a true sense. Then only the purpose of conducting such a 15 days long international workshop, inviting so many participants from the abroad also. So here the research ethics involve the application of fundamental ethical principles to research activities, which include the design and the implementation of research, respect towards the society and others. So basically, the important point for the research ethics. One is the confidentiality and transparency, and another one is the consistency and the integrity. Another one is the competence and beneficence. And the fourth one is the non-discriminant and the responsible conduct. So what I mean to say is the unethical research basically involves the scientific experimentation, like the plagiarism. Nowadays, it's a plagiarism softwares are there. We have also purchased this year in the library, and so many good softwares are there. iAuthenticate or many, and they can easily tell you about the plagiarism, and many of the journal they use to reject the plagiarism if it is more than 20% or the whatever their guideline. Then data fabrication, data falsification, then conflict of interest. So these are some unethical research which involves in the scientific experimentation. And basically the institution pressure also is sometimes there, because many times we used to judge the scientist or the boss also. They used to write in their annual confidential report about the how many scientists have published the paper, and under in your department how many scientists have published the paper, like that. So institutional pressure to publish or to obtain the grants and the contracts and the career ambitions. So basically, and poor supervisory of the researcher also. Sometimes these are some of the reasons that results in the unethical research, which I have. It's my finding, and it is true also that because of some these are the pressures and these there, and basically for getting a patent also, for copyright and other forms of intellectual property, and they're protecting confidentiality also, they avoiding the wasteful and the duplicative kind of publications. So basically, you have to avoid the misconduct, and basically you have to obey the relevant laws. Otherwise, that's what the integrity is there. If suppose you are alone in some higher official's room, and that higher official has gone for a some washroom or some outside the room, and if you are searching on his table some paper or searching the files, that is the part of integrity. Basically, there are difference between integrity and honesty. Honesty, you can say that, yeah, I'm honest, I don't take bribe and this thing, single penny. But integrity is a very big word. In the corporate sector, if your biodata is too big, you are a very honest guy, you have a very smart physics and this thing, but your integrity is zero, then you are zero for that particular firm or the corporate sector, because they want to have a high standard of integrity personnel. So likewise, in any government sector also, in the private sector also, the integrity part is very much important, and that's what I have conveyed in my normal language, that what is the integrity and what is the honesty. So basically, upholding the integrity in the academic publication, there are three important points. One is the authorship and the contributions. Many times you may find the very big list of authors in the paper, and there are only 2-3 real worker in that paper, but there will be a 20 list. I will not say for all, but many times some host or the already authorships are also being given, maybe because of to please someone, or maybe because of some pressure by the boss or because I have seen, I'm not going to quote any name of someone, but I have seen the person who has applied for any position and their biodata was very bottom line, or you can say the borderline. But if you, after serving 4 or 5 years or the many years in the as a position director or something, so their publication is more than 400. So here you might think of that simply giving a name of a person who is not at all worked for that one, simply pushing you, or simply in the position that, yeah, he is a boss, to please him, you are giving this thing. That also a part of integrity. My dear, that is also a part of integrity. So you have to think twice giving any authorships and the contributions in your research paper. It's your credibility, it's your credit note. So you have to think of. Another point is the conflict of interest. So what are the conflict of interest? So all potential conflicts is the financial or the personal. So must be disclosed to maintain the transparency. So basically, in the publication part, if the fees is involved, or the suppose sometime you get the royalty also, that also has to be disclosed when you are working in the organizations or working for any project in the corporate sector also, because the good paper are being published in the corporate sector also, those who are involved in the R&D sector. Then data integrity and ethical approach, that already I have told you many times, and I think you might have been convinced that how best we may have a data integrity and the ethical approach for getting a accurate data reporting. And it is not only involving the data integrity ethical approach is for the human being, it may be involved for the animals also, because the biosafety data is there. Then we were working on the GM crop and all. Then you have a regulatory mechanism, regulatory data requirement. So those points have to be taken care while reporting such ethical approval. There are peer review and the rejections. So there are some common formats, which is a single blind, double blind, open review. So these are some different types of peer review. And there are many reasons for the rejection, which is a poor methodology or lack of clarity in writing. That's what I told you, that one has to be very clear in writing the expressing the any data. Or then insufficient novelty. I told you that your work should be a novel in this thing. Then only you may think of the publishing a good paper in the maybe 10 impact factor or the 20 impact factor, like Frontier and this thing. And you have to respond the reviewers, means if somebody is criticizing your work, then you have to respond very respectfully and with detailed revisions and the clear justification, because every question has the justification. So based on those, you have to think of. And certainly when you will give weightage to the reviewer, definitely your paper will become a more viable, more weighted, and it will be more acceptable to all the this thing. Just some of the points I want to discuss, that what are the responsibility of an editor is there. So kindly just make a note of it, that does the manuscript fit into the scope of journal? Does the manuscript adhere to the information of the authors to guideline? Is it a review or research paper for short communication? Is it the abstract concise or not? Does the manuscript provide the novelty or the sufficient information? How to work reported is different from the prior published papers. And does the paper cater to the readership of the journal? Because ultimately, editor has to see the readership. If no one is reading that journal, it is an insult to the particular editor of that particular journal. So these are the responsibility of an editor. And responsibility of the reviewer. What reviewer has to mature enough to understand the requirement. So here reviewer should notify the editor if they are unable to review the paper. Means some of the times I used to say that you may find the alternative reviewer, because simply pending in your mailbox, it is not going to make any sense of it, because the ultimately the you people, if you have written a good paper, you want to get it published as early as possible. So there are journals, they used to give the lot of timeline for the publishing a good paper in the good journal, then reading the complete manuscript, including figures, tables, data. So ultimately, you have to read thoroughly, and you have to ultimately, you are going to review. It is not going that you are going to review only title and abstract, which I told you that these two sections are very important. Then it should be critically analyzed specific section, and then ultimately manuscript as a whole. Then it should consider the originality and the novelty of the work rather than just looking into the state-of-the-art techniques. Then ensure the methodology and the analysis are provided in detail without repeating already published information. That is very important, which will allow the reader to judge the scientific merit of the study design and be able to replicate the study. And ensure the article cites all relevant work. So that is also very important, that if you have chosen any study, that all the area of aspect in that particular study is very well defined, and article cites the very well. Then reviewer should provide his comments in detail to enable the authors to properly understand. And reviewer should not recommend to cite their own paper and the papers of their co-authors or colleague or from the journal they are associated to increase the citation unless it is highly relevant. Because sometimes they also do like this to how to increase the citation index. So as a reviewer, you should not. That's what the integrity comes here. The reviewer should avoid derogatory comments and shall maintain a neutral tone and should provide a constructive criticism to improve the quality of work. The author's name, their affiliation, laboratory they belong to, and the place of work should not influence the decision of the reviewer. Use of AI and AI-assisted tools such as ChatGPT to review submission or to generate peer review should be strictly avoided, because nowadays there's artificial intelligence, ChatGPT is there. So many times the reviewers, they feed some of the points, and they used to get the ready-made material from the ChatGPT, and they used to put it as a reviewer part. That should not be. Actually, it is not advisable. If the review report does not meet the journal's quality standard, the reviewer should be asked to revise the report, or the report may be discarded. And maintaining the confidentiality of the review process, that is very important. And responsibility of publisher is also there. What are then? Just some few points that they should think beyond the impact factor and the citation of the journal and overall contribution of the journal to improve the scientific knowledge in the specific area should be the goal, and should ensure unbiased review process, should constitute the editorial board, which will have balanced representation from the global north and south developing countries. Chief editor should be an accomplished and highly respected scientist within the field. That's very important. And you might have seen also in the many of the journals, if you look at the chief editor is the person who is the well-known personality in that particular area. The name's affiliation, place of work will have influence on the editor and reviewer's decision-making process, and hence considering the blind reviewing may be a better option. The page charges for open access journals should be reasonable, and there should be a logic in fixing page charges. And publishers should ensure that chief editor, or editor board member of a particular journal follow the same review process. Now coming to the authors, what is the responsibility that you should follow it? So basically, manuscript planning should begin before authors start experiment, and should have the following: knowing the audience and readers where you are going to publish the paper and who is going to read your paper. So you use less to convey more. So basically use an outline to organize idea and prepare a well-articulated abstract. Table and figure should be a stand alone and should provide information for easier understanding by the readers. And focus on ideas and write the result interpretation without repeating the tables and figures. Make appropriate studies for discussion to highlight the novelty. If the manuscript is too large, break into parts and work on the parts. and choose the journal within the scope of the work which is of most visited and has the target audience. And always you obtain, we used to develop such kind of the, whenever the papers are being submitted to the PME or the publication cell, we used to take the consent of all the co-authors. So basically the idea is to avoid the gift authorships. Basically I told you about the honorary authorship, gift authorship, and the ghost authorships. So that should be avoided. So basically, these are the metrics to evaluate the scientific contribution: H index, I index, G index. So basically, these are the some of the points in which these can be taken up. And in addition to these matrices, it is suggested to consider the fundamental contribution with a high quality basic science and transdisciplinary collaboration with complex challenges, then research impact to socio-culture environment and the economic well-being. So ultimately, the basic research should be targeted to enhance the intellectual knowledge. However, the applied research should be aligned with national development goals. The national development goals are defined, and the UN SDGs. So the leadership in the research should consider the using different metrics for assessing the scientific contribution of the researcher. And the coming to the responsible research and publication. So basically, it is important to realize that the creating and enforcing regulations provides a minimum level of ethical behavior. However, scientists should not create a culture of regulation, but a culture of co-science. So authors should also ensure the availability of raw data, use of justified authorship and affiliation. Sometimes the publisher, they ask for raw data also to verify your synthesized or the analyzed data. So that also you have to protect it. And the ultimately you have to use this post acceptance. Authors should also follow the respect of embargo period. So avoiding sharing of PDF copy of the accepted copy in the social media form. Nowadays, many of the journal they used to provide a PDF copy or by paying certain amount of money. Now, no free business. So you have to think of in that way, that to avoid the posting this PDF version in the public domain or the social media domain. So I think most of the points I have covered. This is again the almost how to have a time-bound peer review process and time-bound publication process. So basically, time-bound publication process is the proofs, editing, and preprint, and the final article available online. And rigorous peer review process, that is also very important. It means these are the points how to improve the publishing standards. So this is for the publishers who are going to publish a good paper. So ultimately, funding agencies such as DBT, ICR, and should also mandate the Indian journals to provide free access to the research work. This is also very important. Indexing Indian journal in PubMed and Scopus, ISA websites index, that is also required. Indian journals should have free e-subscription. That is also important. And Indian journals may have social media account to display recently published important articles. And journal websites should be made more attractive, have information like editor-in-chief, editorial board, ISI, NAS impact factor. And all the website provide average time of publications. And website with a clear navigation of guidelines for authors or manuscript preparations. So these are some of the standard points which needs to be given ponder over for getting a good paper published in the journal. So these are some of the solutions which I have taken from one of the policy paper of the NAS, where they have made some proposed solution that how the existing guideline available at the ICAR Institute and the agriculture universities on the ethics in publication should be reviewed, and necessary improvement or the changes in the guideline may be made after consultation with the experts. Then ethical parameters and the publishing policies should be included in our stated journal. Then reduce the emphasis on publications counts, which will discourage the growth of predatory journals. Otherwise, we used to give a lot of that you should publish 10 paper, 12 paper, 15 paper. Likewise, otherwise, what people are doing, they are going for the predatory journals. UGC has given strict guideline that stop publishing in the predatory journals. So likewise, you have to think of. And again, the here in the ICAR system, we have a PME, performance monitoring evaluation cell. So any paper you are submitting it, you have to submit it into PME, then PME will have a certain kind of evaluation, and then it will be given the permission to go for the publication. Then the massive open online courses are there. MOOCs, they are generally they are conducting, and many other institutions also, those who are involved in the education about the predatory publication journals and the fraudulent practices may be designed. And publication policies should be displayed on the university institutional website. That is also very important. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. If any participant has any query related to this presentation, he or she may ask. Doubt clearing session is open.
Good evening, sir. Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
So I want to know more about H index, I index, and G index.
This is basically based on the citation index. Whenever you are writing a paper, you are giving a references. So how many times your paper is also being quoted by the other researcher in their research paper, that is going to impact on your H index and the I index. H index is the higher version where you have to have a more citation index, then only it will increase.
Thank you.
Next, please. Next, please.
So the session was outstanding. Sir, while writing a paper, we need to give minimum references we can, sir. We must avoid more references. Like maximum 4 to 5 references will be good. So can you sir explain me? And some of my seniors are giving 9 to 10 references, even 15 references in their credit seminar. So please advise me on that.
No, it depends on the quantum of work. What kind of work you are. If suppose your work is related to the transgenic crop, suppose if you are talking about the review paper is the full of references only. That how best you are making a statement in a referral point of view. And if you are going to present a credit seminar, that also needs to be very well reviewed, because in the credit seminar basically for the students, so it will give the good impact that if you are having a 10 to 15 rather than 4 to 5. 4 to 5 is too minimal. So I will recommend that you should go for 10 to 15 references at least.
Thank you so much, sir. Much obliged.
Next, please.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, how government institutes like ICAR playing a role in our journals?
See, ICAR is publishing one journal, 2-3 journals in the different disciplines, right? Indian Journal of Agriculture Science, Indian Journal of Animal Science. So likewise, they have some 2-3 journals, and there, they have a impact factor of 0.2 to 0.3, means NAS rating more than 6. So here you can give the your research paper. Here the publication charges is nil. Only you have to give the uh, membership, 1,000 rupees or something. Exactly, I don't know, maybe 1,200. So, and all the authors should be given the membership. Suppose 4 authors are there, then you have to pay 1,000 rupees for all the authors. And there you will be given the 1 year membership. So here you can make a publication, the ICR journals. So these are the ICR journals. Otherwise, for publishing paper in the other journals, ICR has no role. Only thing is that you have to think of publishing paper in the ICR journals.
Sir, means for ICR General, they are providing that membership of 1 year in that criteria.
1 year.
Okay, okay, okay.
Then,
Thank you
then
so
only
much, sir.
then only they will publish the paper.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, this year, the IC, the ASRB in ARS, there is no vacancy for biotechnology, sir. Then, where will the biotechnology grads will go, sir?
Your question and your query is very much painful. Even I also used to think, I was talking to one today girl, she was appointed for young professional and she did a MTech from IGKU Raipur. And she's from farm machinery and she was telling that I have not qualified NET. And she was telling that for the last 2-3 years, no positions is vacancies coming out for the NET. So this is a really questions related to the policymakers where I cannot answer anything. But certainly during my time when I passed my ARS in 1991, so my batch of 62, there were 62 positions of the agronomy. And nowadays I'm seeing only 4, 5, and you are talking about the biotechnology, no positions are coming out. So
Sir,
that
day
is
by day, the vacancy is becoming less.
becoming less. That
So
is
then
true.
we should, so
So
then
you
we should
think
go
of
to,
other opportunities also. Don't stick to the only ARS or this thing. You may think of some other options. Getting a job in the university system is also not as very difficult, that I can understand. And from this forum, I don't want to comment much on the subject, that how to get
sir,
the
please. Yes, sir.
appointment in the university system. But you believe in God and you believe in your work. Certainly the day will come that you will get the success. Only thing is that motivation and the pursuance, pursuance and perseverance, these are the points which will definitely lead to a success. That is my only suggestions to you and only mentoring points which you want to listen from me. Thank you.
Sir, which
Thank you
candidate
so much, sir.
has equivalent
Good
role as
Anything
evening.
ARS,
else,
sir?
please?
Good evening, sir.
Ik-
Sir,
ik-
as a beginner in academics, what is the about popular article? I mean, the citations of popular article, it should be similar
Popular-
like
See, some of the good magazines are also having a NAS rating. But popular article does not give you that much of impact which the research paper will give. Popular article basically will give you the popularity among the masses. Masses would be of academician or the farming community and the person who used to read the particular magazines. So there you will get the popularity. That's why this popular article concept is there. So popular article may be related to the conservation agriculture or the GM technology, and the point, the topic related to the current of
sir,
health
in
of
case
affairs
of
day to day.
sir, in case of writing a popular article, should we maintain a number of citations like the review paper, or it should be less than?
Popular article, we don't find references generally.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So recently, article I read that there is no scope of biotechnology in India. USA is the boss. in times of India, sir. So
No. Don't get depressed of such article. Don't read such article. Don't believe in that one anyway. But if you have done a biotechnology, what you have done? You have done a biotechnology?
sir, I have done my BTech in biotechnology and I'm currently doing my MSc Agriculture in molecular biology and biotechnology, sir.
So no. Certainly, the molecular biology has a big scope. Recently, we have got the 100 crores rupees from the World Bank for genome editing. So there are areas where you can think of, but certainly the getting a job in all the disciplines is very difficult. You talk about any discipline, maybe agronomy, plant breeding, and other things. But biotechnology role is very much because basically biotechnology is a tool, and nowadays everybody is using that tool for all sort of crop improvement and the other molecular advancement. So certainly that technology is going to play a major role. Now those days have gone that you use the 120 kg urea or this much, that much. So don't think in that way. I think you should stick on the good work and definitely you will get the success. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Much obliged.
Anybody else, please?
चले मैं थोड़ा मेरे को जगह भी
Good
हाँ,
evening, sir.
हाँ गुड इवनिंग बताइए
Sir, the abstracts which published on conference books, are they comes under publications or not,
abstract.
sir?
Sometime
Yes,
generally the NAS beauty is that whenever the NAS is conducting any workshop seminar, they used to get the NAS rating something this thing ISBN number. ISBN number is generally used to take from the your this Ram Manohar Lohia, that organization is there in Delhi. They used to give the ISBN number, but there are some abstract books are also is NAS rated. But publishing in most of the conferences symposia as a abstract, it is not going to give you marks for that one. Only thing is that for your initial career, because when I started my career, I also used to publish some of the research paper and in the form of abstract only in the conference book and all. That will give you some, my name is there, my work title abstract is there. So you start with that note. Ultimately, one day you will write a good paper in PLOS 1 or something like that. Those bigger journals are there. Okay.
Okay. Then I think question answer session is over. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us and giving your precious time. Today I have a headache, very fast headache, so I'm feeling less energetic. So kindly accept my sincere apology.
No.
And
You have
thank you for
a
your
smiling
always-
face. Always you are energetic. We are not at all feeling that you have a headache, but you take some medicine and take rest. Okay.
Definitely, sir.
And
Your
I also
blessings and
enjoyed.
support.
I'm also, from my core of heart, I am very much grateful and thankful to you that you are getting me exposed to the participants like a young generation who needs a mentoring, because once upon a time I was also a person like them only. There I was needing such kind of mentorship. So here from this forum, I can tell to them that you believe in your work and work hard. One day you will get the success definitely. Only thing is that you लगे रहना है, मजे रहना है, ठीक है ना. एक सक्सेस IAS के भी यही है कि वो लोग जितना लग के काम करते हैं और जितना जुझारूपन उनके अंदर होता है सफलता को चूमने का, तो वही आपको भी लेना पड़ेगा. तो मुझे लगता नहीं कि कहीं भी आपको मंजिल ऐसी नहीं है जो मिलेंगी नहीं. और देयर आर मेनी अपॉर्चुनिटीज. एक दरवाजे बंद होते हैं तो और भी होते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि अच्छा यू आर एक्स YP2 ऑफ NIBSM. चलिए, वेरी गुड मेगा. तो विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट. तो हमें भी ऐसे ही है, कभी कभी असफलताओं का सामना करना पड़ता है. तो हमारे गुरुजन और जो लोग हैं वो यही बोलते हैं कि भाई आपके एक दरवाजे बंद हुए तो दूसरे और खुलेंगे. तो इसी स्पिरिट के साथ हमको आगे बढ़ना है. अदरवाइज तो हम तो अगर हमारे एक दरवाजे बंद हो गए और हम ये डिप्रेशन ले लें कि हमारा खत्म हो गया, तो फिर खत्म हो गया, फिर तो कोई मतलब ही नहीं बचा है ना. तो हमें अपनी कोशिशें करते रहनी है, और जो कोशिशें करते हैं उन्हीं को सफलताएं भी मिलती हैं, ठीक है ना। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूँ। बहुत
Thank
बहुत
you so much, sir,
धन्यवाद,
for joining.
और
Thank
एग्रीमीट
you.
फाउंडेशन को
And
बहुत
looking
बहुत
forward such type of support in the next academic activities.
जरूर जरूर जरूर।
Thank you, sir.
एग्रीमीट
Pranam.
फाउंडेशन बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहा है। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
थैंक यू।